Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Hello, friends, and welcome into Another Dooley Noted Podcast, as always presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. We look forward to Coach Spurrier being in here as he is on every Monday. By the way, Friday, Wayne Fields is going to be with us. I look forward to that. And, of course, one of the great defensive backs ever at the University of Florida. Can't wait to talk to him. And he's working on this tournament, too, that for the Lenny Lucas, Willie Jackson endowment that they're trying to do. So he'll tell us all about that. And, of course, great player, Florida, really good. Gainesville kid, too, Gainesville High. So we'll have him on Friday. Today, I was trying to think of what do we want to talk about. Maybe the bracket that came out or maybe, spring training and baseball starting. Or how about no? How about the fact that all of a sudden yesterday I'm sitting there leisurely enjoying the Players' Championship, and all of a sudden I get a call, Mike White's going to Georgia. It was like a cartoon, that cartoon where who is it that does that? Anyway, that's kind of was my reaction, and I went out and told my wife, and she said, you need to call Kelsey, and I'm like, she's not going to be happy. But I did. She was getting ready to go see, I think, Tyler, the Creator in Madison Square Garden. She goes, you're not going to ruin this for me, Dad. She loved Mike White, and a lot of people did. A lot of people do. A lot of people care about him a lot. I'm one of them. I think Mike White kind of quit caring about me after a while. I never really understood that, but he just didn't respond to anything in the last couple of years. And that's fine. I don't know. It's fine. You have a right to do that. But it is just such a weird thing, and there are so many layers to it. Look, last week I talked to somebody who would know, who was around it, who made it very clear that Mike White was not going to be fired, but that he might leave. Well, I would like everybody to jump to the conclusion it could be Mississippi, because they might want to be firing Kermit Davis. And I was told, no, they're not going to fire Kermit Davis. What I relayed to you here. The person who told me that was Scott Strickland. And Scott Strickland knew that something was afoot. This is not a big shocker. This isn't Lon Kruger. This isn't Florida going, what? You're leaving? And I would think that Scott Strickland, who knows something about within the conference poaching, probably is not too bothered by it. That the fact is short that the Gator fans are like, how dare you leave? We ran you out of town and you leave, but don't go there. You're not allowed to go there. We'll tell you where. How about if you go to, I would say Siberia, but certainly nobody wants to talk about that area of the country. But how about if you go to Middle Tennessee? How about that? We'll let you go there, not to Georgia. Look, Georgia fans I would think, are pretty happy if they're smart. They're what would you call a bidiot? A bulldog idiot would be a bidiot. The bidiots up there are probably going, we could have gotten somebody better than that. Well, yeah, you didn't. You got this guy, and apparently this has been in the works for a while. This is not stunning news for Florida that he went to Georgia. Of course, Sunday is when they called and asked official permission. And Mike, I'm sure that Scott Strickland said, okay. And look, financially, it's a great deal for Florida for a guy that was going to be on the hot seat next year. In a way, it's a great deal for Mike White, and that he gets to go and start fresh somewhere, and he doesn't, in his mind anyway, have to absorb the anxiety of the Gator Nation and it become a big negative thing for his family. And I think that, look, one thing you have to know about Mike White, he's a very sensitive guy, but he's also a guy who only believes in two things: his basketball team and his family. The rest of everybody, is not important to him. He doesn't get out socially. He doesn't, get involved with a lot of different things that other coaches have. And I mean, Billy was pretty good about going and speaking to a lot of people. He does what he's required to do for his job. Well, and then he works very hard at his job. And then when he's not, he is spending it with his family. And then he goes back to work. And that's the way he's always been. Now, if you're a Georgia fan, though, here's a way to look at it. If this guy can take you to above average, we know that. He took Florida to above average. It's not like he inherited great talent. He inherited a good program, but he didn't inherit great talent. The last team Billy had was under 500. So he inherited, but up there he's inheriting no talent. I mean, not very much at all, but that's not the point. If he wins 6 conference games, there you go. Man, we knew we got the right guy. That's not the way it is here. At Georgia, it's different. Just because, there's not a lot of passion for basketball. There's not a lot of passion here, to be honest. But mainly that for Georgia, it's like they care about it, and it's been so bad that they're ready. They're ready to have somebody, and he can get you to above average. We don't know if he can get you to great. We don't know if he can get you to spectacular. We don't know if he can get you to the best. We don't know that. We know he can get you to above average, and that's what Florida has been during his 7 years. I'm not going to sit here and be critical of Mike White. He is as good a person as I've ever met. He cares about his players. The things he has done for his players that you guys don't know about are amazing. Got his players to play hard this year and just weren't very talented. Didn't do a good job of the transfer portal. I mean, there's a million things that you could not like about what happened this year. They went 13-13 after that 6-0 start. That's not acceptable. It doesn't mean you fire him. And look, I don't know that Scott Strickland encourages. I don't know that. In fact, I don't think it's true. It may be. We'll find out down the road exactly what happened here. I think more than anything, he was just tired of being at Florida. He was tired of being around this fan base. And I do know this, that Mike, early in his career, had this policy of do not tell me what's on all the chat rooms. Do not tell me what people are saying. I don't want to hear it. I'm focusing on my job, and then I'm going to go home to my family. Then I'm going to come back and do my job. I don't want to hear about anything. But his last few years, he did. He started paying attention to it. He started getting angry about things. He had his relationship with the media changed in his last couple of years. And I just think he got to a point where I don't want to be here anymore. I don't like this. What I'm doing is running a clean program and bringing in some good recruits. I'm not going to recruit at Kentucky level, but I'm at least bringing in good players. I'm never finishing below 500 in the league, and you guys don't all hate me. Well, you can't listen to all the squeaky wheels. And I did make a vow on New Year's Eve that I would not use the term again, but I'm using it again. There are a lot of Gidiots out there, and the Gidiots have basically ran them off. And it's great to be able to talk to Coach Spurrier about this in a little bit, and we're going to do that in about 5 or 6 minutes, about when he kind of got fed up with people demanding too much. Gator Nation is very demanding. They expect you to be at the top of your game in every sport all the time. They expect you to win every game by a lot. They don't expect you to ever lose. Well, most fan bases want that. Here, and again, I've talked about this a million times, the football, basketball, 4 national championships in 3 years, it spoiled Gator fans to the point where they think they should be able to get back to that. Nobody has, and nobody probably ever will again. Probably never happen. But they expect it. And it's just the way it works. So what a weird day it was on Sunday watching a lot of basketball, and I enjoyed that. And we'll talk more about Mike White. Again, it is a financial boon for Florida. I don't want to say boom because they don't have to spend the $8 million if they want to get rid of it. And look, I'm convinced that Scott Strickland would not have fired him. And he told me as much. He said the program's not broken, but he knew that him leaving was a possibility. Now, does this mean that at some point Mike came to Scott and said, I'm sick of these fans. I'm tired of it. I don't know how much more I can take. And Scott said, Mike, maybe it's time for you to move on because they're not going away. Fans are going to be here, and they're going to be loud, and they're going to be obnoxious sometimes, and they're going to give you a hard time. Or maybe he said, this apathetic fans, don't show up for games, and I'm tired of being. I don't know what all happened. Okay, here's all I know: this was something that's been going on for a while. It did not come out of nowhere, and we'd been hearing it for a while. And now he's gone, and Florida fans don't have to worry about him. They do have to worry about Iona though coming in here. That big NIT 9 o'clock game. One of the names that keeps coming up is Rick Pitino. And I'm like, well, first of all, I don't see Florida making that kind of a move, to take a guy with all the baggage that Rick Pitino brings. But secondly, when Rick Pitino is standing there on the sideline and looks around, there'll be 1,000 people in the O-Dome for a 9 o'clock Wednesday game against Iona in the NIT with an interim coach. I'm sure it's not going to go, this will be a great job for me. I mean, I'm not sure how good the Florida job is. I really don't. I think you need to find somebody who wants to be here. But again, this goes back to that thing I talked about the other day. Florida coaches don't get fired in basketball here. They leave. 3 in a row now. Well, actually 4 in a row, if you want to count Don DeVoe. So it's Don DeVoe, Lon Kruger, Billy Donovan, and now Mike White. Nobody ever gets fired. They just leave. It's weird. It's weird, and we'll talk more about that as well. I did want to give a big plug for Florida's indoor track team, winning a national championship, the 10th for Mouse Hallway. Maybe Mouse could coach the basketball team. I mean, whatever he touches turns to goal. He's a heck of a coach and has done an unbelievable job. So I want to give them credit. And we still got some more stuff to come up on them. Of course, the bracket came out yesterday. If you do more than one bracket, your brackets count for whatever your contest you're in. They don't count with me. You can do one bracket. That's it. This is my bracket. You can't have 7 and go, yeah, well, when my one bracket's doing it. No, I don't want to hear about it. You get one bracket. That's it. One thing I do advise, don't fall in love with what happened in the conference tournaments. And originally I had that written down to say, don't pick Texas A&M to go far because there probably weren't. Oh, Texas A&M didn't make it. Look, there's a reason why they didn't make it. You lose 8 in a row. Even with what they did. I thought they should have gotten in, but can you imagine where we would be? Let's just say if Florida had beaten Texas A&M in College Station and in the SEC tournament. Certainly doable. They lost by 1 in one place and in overtime in the other. And then they beat Auburn and didn't get in the tournament. Texas A&M took it further, beat Auburn and Arkansas too. So, but they just didn't have it was a total resume deal. I get why they didn't get in. I still think they should have gotten in. To be honest with you, I think this was an easy year to get in. There are a lot of teams in there that really look like they were on the bubble and they kept losing and they kept staying on the bubble. So it didn't work out for Florida, obviously, and now they'll be looking for a new coach. We'll get to some of that other stuff as well. And then on top of that, right when they're revealing the brackets, Tom Brady announces, yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back after all. Get your little brackets out of here. Nobody cares about that. I'm coming back. So believe me, that's all they've been talking about. Can't say I'm stunned. One more thing before we go to Coach Spurrier. The women got a 10 seed, and everybody's upset about that. I do understand why. There's 3 reasons. One, Florida's non-conference schedule was terrible. They didn't play anybody. They played a few Power 5 teams, and they were not good Power 5 teams. The one they played that was good, NC State beat them by 30-something. That hurt them. The way they finished, losing 4 out of 5, hurt them. And now that they know Kiki Smith is not playing, that probably knocked them down another seed line. So There were reasons why they were not respected a lot during the year. I think 10's too low. And it's amazing. There are 6 teams from the state of Florida in the NCAA women's tournament. 4 of them are playing each other. That's just lazy scheduling as far as I'm concerned. And also, men's tennis beat number 4 and number 1 this week. How about that? So there's a lot of good things to think about. And, of course, we'll talk with Coach Spurrier about that as well. We'll be back with Coach Spurrier after we take this break. You're listening or watching the Another Dooley Noted Podcast, presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
Hi folks, Big Mill here bringing you the sandwich of the month for February. I know I'm a little late. It's been extra busy here in the store and out and about doing some events. This month we kept it a little simple. I joined the wars, the fried chicken sandwich wars, folks. We got in it. It's a fried chicken sandwich with pickles, Big Mill sauce on our wonderful, famous Martin's potato roll. It comes with fries, folks. Something a little bit different this month. Order it with fries. Come on down and see me at Big Mill's. It's street food dining at its finest.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Spite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Another Dooley Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What would give you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444. All right, welcome back to another Dooley Noted Podcast, as always presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And, of course, Coach Spurrier's appearances every Monday are also presented by the great Meldon Law Group. And we appreciate Jeffrey Meldon for being here today with his what do you did you fall back into the 50s, or what happened here?
Yeah, Pat, for us oldies but goodies, I decided that I would dance with the stars last Saturday night. And we had a great event. 550 people showed up to support the arts out at Legacy Park in Alachua. What a great facility.
Yeah.
Have you been out there, Steve?
No, I haven't.
I have been there, yeah.
You've been there. I mean, for basketball tournaments, for sporting events, for parties, whatever, concerts, they did a hell of a great job out there. So anyhow, we raised a bunch of money for the dancing, with
Did you win?
I got the most entertaining award.
And we just saw the video.
I know.
He
So-
deserved it.
I know.
Yeah, he sure did.
So anyhow, this is the glasses I wore. This is the jacket I wore. I had a gold bow tie, and it was great. And it's nice to see that North Central Florida is supporting the arts, and
Absolutely.
it was very cool. Next year, I'm going to get you guys out there.
Good luck with that. Yeah. I don't know if I can dance like that. I know I can't do any flipping anybody around.
No, my dancing days were about 10 years ago. Maybe 20.
Well,
I'm not sure.
when you were in high school, did
Oh,
you
yeah.
used to be?
Oh, yeah. We did all that dancing, the hands. Oh, yeah. We did it in college.
My
Sure.
my
Yeah.
my
Didn't
first
like it.
my first date with my current wife was at his 50th birthday party. We were dancing at that
Yeah.
party too.
Yeah,
Up
we
at
danced back in those
yeah
days.
back now. We're lucky we can even get up out of the recliner.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to lead the way for you guys, and maybe there'll be a second career.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a lot to talk about, and obviously we're all sitting here wondering who the next basketball coach is going to be. I don't know. I know this had been a kind of an ongoing rumor and been going around for a while, and I think it probably was in play for a lot longer with Coach White wanting to get out of here. But Steve, I mean, this fan base sometimes can turn people, and get them a little angry and make them want to move. And it's funny because Florida has not fired a basketball coach since Norm Sloan.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Billy left on his own.
Kruger left on his own.
Kruger did too.
Kruger did, yeah.
Yeah, but Sloan was kind of, there was a little scandal.
Oh, there's a
going on.
lot of scandal.
But, what?
Well, the days of people lasting a long time are over, I think, just
Yeah.
about. I lasted 12 years here and left, and it wasn't because of that. The reason I left, well, we won 6 SECs in my first 7 years. So the next 5 years, we only won 1. Lost the playoff game another year. And the other 3 years, we just lost that one game that didn't get us to the championship game. Finished top 5 in the nation those 3 years. But the Gator fans, most of them are pretty good. But I guarantee you, half of them, when I left, said he's only won 1 SEC in his last 5 years. We got to get anybody can do that good at the mighty University of Florida. Well, we've had 2 since then. Urban got 2, and but anyway, that expectations are at all these schools nowadays. But even the president, I called President Fox when he resigned this year. I said, President, are you sure that's what you need to do? He said, oh, yeah, Coach. You can't last more than 8 or 9 years. And I said, well, that's what President Lombardi told me when he left.
Right.
He said, I've been here almost 10 years. Half of them love me, half of them hate me. Time for somebody else. He'll be here 10 years. Half of them will love him, half of them want him out. And that's pretty much the way it is in coaches also.
Yeah, no, it happens a lot. In fact, Shaka Smart did the same thing. He went from Texas to Marquette, and he said, the heat's coming. I want to get ahead of it. It's happened with other coaches who, especially in basketball, where the heat starts to come and they go, you know what? I don't want to be around this fan base anymore.
So is Mike Krzyzewski the end of an era?
Well, he could be the next candidate for the Florida job, I think. Let's get Coach K. Let's start that bandwagon going.
Or he may unretire like Brady.
Yeah.
Because he's got a good team. Most guys sort of resign. Well, I resigned when I had a team with a sorry attitude and a few assistant coaches with some bad attitudes also. So I could have hung in there. But it was time for me to get out.
It was
Right.
time for me to get out of there, and I created it, so it's my fault. The head man's in charge of everything, so I'd done a lousy job getting everybody on the same page. So it was time for me to leave. But I was there 10 years, which is pretty good, I guess. Anyway.
But the thing is, you created the atmosphere that is here. When Steve came here, he created the football atmosphere, and then Billy created this basketball atmosphere. Until then, Florida was nothing. I mean, I won't say nothing, but there were pockets of success, but no sustained success. And I mean, Jeffrey, I know you guys, you went through this that all Gator fans did in the 06 to 08 when they won 4 championships in football and basketball. Nobody's ever probably going to do that again. Nobody. But you still want it to happen every year like that.
Well, I think Steve elevated the program in football, followed by Kruger in '94, and then Billy Donovan coming in. So all of a sudden, we were title town.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just 06, 7, and 8. It had been building up since you came here in '90, and we were accustomed to success in basketball and football consistently.
Well, I tell you what, we've had success in a lot of other sports, not counting football and basketball.
Yep.
The ladies gymnastics and our women's
Indoor track,
just
yeah.
won another national championship. So we've won more SEC championships in all the sports combined, way more than anybody else in the SEC.
I think it's like 255 to 152 or something.
Yeah, Mouse
for number
Holloway,
2.
we won our 11th women's indoor championship, or track championship, and our gymnastic ladies are undefeated. So I mean, we could have another big summer coming up.
It's funny when you had to deal with this, and now Mike's going to have to deal with it. I don't know if it's going to bother him, but coaching within the division against Florida, and he's going to be coaching. Obviously they don't have divisions in basketball, but he's going to be coaching. Can you imagine how loud he's going to get booed when he walks in the door?
No, I don't think he'll get booed. I
don't
really
think so.
And with the transfer portal now,
Yeah.
he'll say, I didn't coach any of those guys in Florida. And when I was in South Carolina, I was gone, 4 years. I think there was one guy that might have been redshirted when I was here. So I didn't know any of the players when I coached against Florida. So he won't know. He may have 1 or 2 guys he used to coach, but it'll be an easy transition.
Yeah.
I don't think the Gator fans disliked Mike White. I think they were frustrated at the results he got the last couple of years.
Yeah, and they were. I mean, again, it's squeaky wheels. We know that. That call our radio show, that call things like that, because they're mad. They're angry after losses, and they're the same way with football. They used to call in after you lost to Alabama on a missed extra point by Jeff Chandler, and they were calling in going, "Why is Spurrier's defense stink?" I mean, it's just the way they are. But sometimes coaches let it get to them. Sometimes they don't let it bother them. It's something you almost have to push aside.
So who's the new ideal basketball coach?
That's a great question, and I don't have an answer for that. But my feeling is they need to swing big.
Really?
Yeah, I think you need to either swing. You have 2 options: either swing for the fence, or bring in a guy, whoever it ends up being. Let's say it's a guy at Murray State who's done a great job, and throw that kind of Billy Napier money at his support staff, which they're doing in football. They got 8 people just studying the transfer portal. They could probably use 2 studying in basketball. That's my opinion. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have a name.
Well, look, there's a lot of successful programs that are out there, and the question is, how do you motivate them to give up a successful program and come to Florida?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they will. They will for more money and coaching the big time. Coaching the SEC.
Yeah.
That'll get them. And if they're at what they call them, mid-majors or
Mid-majors, right?
lower, there's a lot of good coaches out there waiting for an opportunity. So hopefully
Yeah.
Scott Strickland can find one of those up-and-coming guys. To me, that's that would be a route to go. But I don't know which direction we're heading. Yeah.
You had a great relationship with Mike. You liked him a lot, and you liked how hard his teams play, and you told him that often.
Coach K?
No, with Coach
Mike White.
Yeah.
You got my mics confused here. Mike White talking about Mike Krzyzewski. Yeah, I like the way they played. Yeah, I tell you what, they didn't have great shooters. We talked about that. If we'd made a few more threes every game, heck, he might still be the coach here. And that's pretty much, some teams don't rely on the three-pointer, but most of them do now.
Hey, even our great teams in 06 and 07, we had Humphrey, right?
Yep.
Who nobody, talks about as much as Noah, and Horford and, everybody else on that team. He was that three-point shooter.
He's the all-time three-point shooter in the NCAA. I mean, as far as most baskets made. Now, again, he played 12 games over those 2 years. So that certainly helped him. So we'll see what happens there. And I did want to talk to you, Coach, about golf, because on Saturday I called Robbie up, and I was supposed to take him something. I said, Robbie, let's go somewhere and watch this carnage on 17. It was unbelievable. I mean, guys hitting dead shanks. I know you've played that course and played that hole, but, I mean, I couldn't believe how bad it was.
Yeah, the wind was against them and left or right or something. Billy Horschel, when he hit it over, he was really mad. I think he got mad at his caddy, but I think the caddy said, go ahead and stick that 7 iron or whatever it was, 8 iron. And he drilled it right through the wind, and it went right over the stick, over the green. But anyway, and I'm sort of agree with, what's the announcer's name?
Brandel Chambly.
Chambly, they said it's a little too unfair because you can make a 7 there in a heartbeat, and you're pretty much out of the tournament. Although that Varner guy, he's back in it, I think, today, and he made a triple bogey there. So it's a course you can score on too, though.
Oh yeah.
Keegan Bradley shot 30 on the backside yesterday and today. Finished up today.
Well, I'm sure you've played there a few times, right?
Played there a bunch. Yeah.
What's your best score
I shot
there?
74 there, and I've got witnesses. I was coaching at Duke. We had a booster event at TPC Sawgrass. We played the Valley course one day and played the stadium course the next day, and we all put $5 in the pot. And, we used to play metal back then. Add them up, whatever your score is. And back then I could play a little bit. And I shot 73, 74 at the stadium course. And I actually birdied 17 that day. You know why? Because one of the ladies that worked in the booster office was taking pictures. And so I got the copy of the picture on 17 pointing at the hole. How about that?
Wow.
So that was by far my best round ever there.
Well, 17 has become iconic in golf now.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it's one of the famous holes.
They were talking, I guess Pete Dye designed it, to intimidate even the best golfer.
Right.
How was it for you, Steve, when you
most of the time I played, the weather was calm, and it wasn't that hard.
And it's a huge green. Yeah.
It's green, yeah.
If you can mentally black out the water, it's an easy hole. But
well, Gary Koch had the best philosophy. He said, I asked him how he did, and he said, I did actually pretty well here because I had one game plan. I told the caddy, tell me what the distance is to the middle of the green. And I tried to hit the middle of the green, wherever the pin was, and tried to two-putt. And that way you eliminate the big numbers.
And that's what it looked like on Saturday. Like they should be doing that, but a lot of them were still trying to get it. And they were just hitting dead. I've seen the worst shots I've ever seen on that course. I don't know, total shanks.
There was 2 or 3 shanks.
That
can happen. Yeah,
well, have you ever played there at TPC?
No.
I played there a few times, and the best I shot was 80. And I was in the middle of the fairway. All I needed was a bogey to break 80. And my dad said right before I hit, he goes, "Just don't hit it in the water." I'm like, "God." Dead pull hook. That was I think we had some money bet. I think that's why that happened. Right into the water, made a 6 on the hole and shot dead 80. That was back when I could play. But obviously, a lot of going on, and you talk about all the other sports, and I know you actively involved in everything with softball and baseball and everything, giving away tickets and everything. There's a lot of good stuff going on here, and hopefully they can get a basketball coach in here that'll get that going again.
We will. When you have the kind of tradition and money that Florida has, it makes all the difference in the world. I don't think there's but 30 or 40 basketball programs that can compete as far as the money aspect.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. With the money the SEC just continually is pouring in. The number just keeps going up, and now they get $250,000 a year for 5 years from Georgia because they hire Mike White.
Yeah, that's true too. but everybody in the SEC's got money now. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Some have a little bit more.
Vandy just doesn't spend theirs.
But everybody still can't win. We talked about spending money in recruiting, and obviously Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia at the top. But Tennessee was right next to them.
Yeah.
And they had a decent year this year, but they have not done all that well the last 10, 20 years. So it takes more than just money, but money helps, obviously.
It does.
Especially in this environment. And, you know, the way Napier's built his, whole program, it's almost like a corporation compared to when you were running the program.
Well, we didn't need all those guys, did I ask people all the time, you know who our nutrition coach was? It was me. Because I had to walk around and said, put something green or something with color on your plate, fellas.
Who was the worst at that would never put any vegetables?
They had not grown up eating vegetables or salads or anything. You have to teach them to do that. And so I'd walk around and make sure they had something on their plate at all the pregame meals and so forth. So they knew, and maybe it helped them a little bit. I don't know.
That's how you become the first $1 million college football coach. You add in the nutrition part of it.
I want an extra $100,000 for that one. Now they pay the nutrition coach a lot more than $100,000 probably.
That's right.
Can you think about what it would have been like for you if you had to deal with the transfer portal too? But I mean, you had guys transferring. You never had a problem with a guy transferring.
No.
He could transfer wherever he wanted.
Yeah, I remember Brock Berlin said, Coach, I want to transfer. Rex Grossman's got another year. And I said, sure, I understand. You can go anywhere. He said, I can go to FSU or Miami. Back then they had a little agreement.
Yeah.
Can't go to those schools. I said, yeah, you go anywhere you want to. And so I ended up going to Miami. And when I was at South Carolina, we had a kid that wanted to transfer. I said, well, why don't you, his parents went to Alabama. I said, why don't you go to Alabama? He said, is that okay? I said, because it's in the SEC. I said, sure, it's okay. So I think he went there and played baseball. He didn't play football anymore. So anyway.
It is kind of funny, though, how now it's, guys within the division. Now even coaches within the...
Go anywhere.
Yeah. It's gotten a little bit crazy.
Let me ask you this, Coach. When Brock Berlin came in and was recruited, he was about as good a quarterback recruit as we had ever had.
I think he was the number one recruit in the country.
He was,
supposedly. Sort of like Clowney.
So what is it that, you have a talent like that and comes in, and Rex Grossman was awfully good too, but what separated Brock Berlin from the success that Rex Grossman had?
Well, he just couldn't beat Rex out. Rex was a beautiful passer.
Rex was good.
He's a great passer. And Brock wasn't bad, but he wasn't quite where Rex Grossman was. Simple as that. And Rex would have won the Heisman if we'd beat Tennessee that night.
Still should have won.
That was our worst loss in probably all 12 years as far as potential of a team, because that team, we played 2 close games and lost both of them.
All right, before we let you
clobbered everybody else.
I know.
Clobbered. Yeah.
Before we let you guys go, it's time for yes, no way, or maybe, and we're going to play it with Jeffrey Meldon. You got to answer these questions yes, no way, or maybe. It's brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteaks, street dining at its finest. We appreciate them, and if you go in there and mention the Dooley Noted Podcast, you get free fries with your order. So that's a great thing. Number 1, the Bucs win the Super Bowl now that Tom Brady's coming back.
Maybe.
Still a lot of good teams out there. Yeah.
Yeah, the odds are low.
Okay.
I put maybe, but not out of sight. Yeah,
So,
sure.
Coach, the odds went from 40-1 to 10-1 when he.
You should have gotten it at 40-1. Yeah.
You remember his last touchdown pass he threw, and the guy in the stands got the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He thought it was worth something.
Supposedly he sold it for $500,000 to this collector. Brady's last touchdown pass. And now the guy wants his money back from what I hear. That's not his land.
Well, hey, buyer beware, right?
Buyer beware.
Yep. Yeah. Number 2, Anthony Grant will be the next Florida coach. Yes, no way, or maybe.
I like Anthony Grant, but I'd put a maybe doubtful. Yeah, maybe doubtful. I think they're trying to shoot for somebody who's got a higher profile.
Well, It's funny.
Where is he coaching at
He's
now?
at Dayton.
Oh, he's
And they're in the NIT too.
He's had success though.
He's had success.
They
We had
were
the
on
one
the
great
bubble.
team. He
Yeah,
had the
I like
one great
Anthony.
team that with Toppin that got
Yeah.
COVID. They couldn't play the tournament. They were like ridiculous 29-1 or whatever they were. But I will say this: he's in his years as a coach, 2 NCAA tournaments at VCU, 1 at Alabama, none at Dayton. So you're not really upgrading in terms of the wins loss. So, but I will put it as maybe, but I don't. There's no relationship between Scott and Anthony there either. We'll see what happens there. Finally, number 3, I will finish in the bottom 20% of the bracket that I'm about to fill out tonight. I always think I know everything, but I don't know anything. It turns out.
No, I will not finish in the bottom 20% of the bracket because I usually go with the favorites unless there's some emotional attachment, right? And if you go with the favorites, you're not going to be in the bottom 20%.
I should just let Kelsey do it because Kelsey one year when she was like 6 got it, and she picked Florida, and Florida made it that year. It was an 06, and then she picked LSU because there was an L in her name. So, and they made it all the way to the Final Four.
LSU's looking for a coach too.
They
right?
are.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. I'm glad they're looking for a coach. I don't know care who they hire, but I'm just glad they don't have that coach anymore. That guy was, as my friend Pat Forty put it, a greasy grifter is what he recalled Will Wade. Yeah. All right, guys. Great having you in here. It was great fun to talk and a lot of good stuff. And we'll be back. You'll be back next Monday, right, Coach?
Yep, Monday we go watch the end of the golf tournament now. How about that? On a
Well,
Monday.
I've still got to finish up, and we
Yeah.
will be back with the last
All right.
20 minutes or so of Another Dooley Noted Podcast, brought to you and presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. And this segment also brought to you by Meldon Law. Thank you.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Hello there, everybody. I'm Pat Dooley, of course, from Another Dooley Noted Podcast. And this is a great Adam Brewer, and he's just opened up a place here, Adam Brewer To Go. What gave you the idea to do this, to have a to-go place like this?
We really like the fast concept, being able to get the barbecue. Now we have this new online ordering. So before it was a call ahead carry out, quick service. We have like a curbside kind of a deal where everything's ready to go for you. And then we thought, wow, we have a really great dine-in concept, but how can we make this streamlined for the customer and make it easy and accessible for all parts of town?
Adam's Rib Co. To Go. Come on down and enjoy it.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Trebo Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Hi folks, Big Mill here bringing you the sandwich of the month for February. I know I'm a little late. It's been extra busy here in the store and out and about doing some events. This month we kept it a little simple. I joined the wars, the fried chicken sandwich wars, folks. We got in it. It's a fried chicken sandwich with pickles, Big Mill sauce on our wonderful, famous Martin's potato roll. It comes with fries, folks. Something a little bit different this month. Order it with fries. Come on down and see me at Big Mills. It's street food dining at its finest.
Another Duly Noted Podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill and Celebration Point. You can watch and listen to us on Facebook and YouTube for every podcast that we do on Mondays and Fridays at 2 o'clock. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Overcast, any of the other 39 platforms where you can find this podcast or your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments section below or call me if you want to do some advertising at 352-317-3444.
Albert, Alberta, I understand you were witnesses to a crash. Can you tell us about the accident? When you're in a crash, it's important to get witness statements immediately after the accident. Whether you're in a car, truck, motorcycle, scooter, or even a golf cart accident, at Meldon Law, we won't back down.
All right, welcome back to Another Dooley Noted Podcast presented by Titan MRI, brought to you, of course, from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. I'm not in a good mood. Now, I've gotten in an even worse mood than I was. Let me keep moving over. A little more. Okay, here we go. Because the word is now that Matt Olson, the Braves have acquired Matt Olson, who is supposed to be the guy who replaces Freddie Freeman. So that means that Freddie Freeman will go elsewhere. I've stated this publicly. I'm divorcing this team if we're getting rid of Freddie Freeman. I don't know. I want to wait. I want to talk to a few people before I publicly divorce the Braves, but that's not good news. And I do have a feeling like something is going to happen with coaching search. I think the week is not even going to be gone before they have a new basketball coach. Just my gut. All right, let's go to the Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. And, boy, there was a lot to choose from. This is what we have this time of year. But I decided to go with Grace Stark, who won not only the 60 meters, but the 60 meters hurdles, as Florida won the national championship in indoor track, the 10th national championship for Mouse Holloway. Now Florida is the home of the 60-meter hurdles, men and women. Fastest times ever in college, NCAA record, because of course, Grant Holloway, who still has a record. But great for that. That was kind of, I don't know if, I guess it was unexpected. I was a little bit surprised by it that they did so well, but I kept watching what they were doing, and they kept doing so great. So the Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend goes to Grace Stark, and congratulations to her. I think she goes winning 2 NCAAs, getting Another Dooley Noted Podcast, Adams Ribco to go Gator of the weekend. Right about the same thing, right about the same level. All right, let us go to the Hesser and Kipke Monday spreads, and we have spreads for you now because I do have to call this up so I can read it. Sometimes we're going to get we got a monitor out that we're going to get fixed, I promise you. And I'm trying to find it. Where is it, Evan? Where is it? It's right here. Here it is. I got it. Okay. The Monday spreads are brought to you by Hesser and Kipke, a law firm based in Hale Plantation, specializing in employment, workers' comp, and family law. Visit their website at www.hklawfl.com or call Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920. I talked to Ken over the weekend, and I think we're going to come up with another thing to do. It's going to have to do with Major League Baseball. He's a big Major League Baseball guy, so we'll come up with a cool thing we can do there. But right now, the Monday spreads, and these are NCAA spreads. I don't even know if there are NIT spreads, and I don't care. I really don't. Indiana, 3.5 over Wyoming. That's a Tuesday game. That's a game I'll watch. I got to be honest with you, though, when the bracket came out, love the SEC's, and everybody's bitching about Tennessee's seed. Oh, calm down. You're a 3 instead of a 2. Oh, yes, you probably deserved a 2, but they don't get everything right, and you just forget about it. Because when you go play your first game, you're going to have to forget about it. But Tennessee is a 16.5-point favorite over Longwood. Where's Longwood? Inquiring minds want to go. I'm trying to remember where Longwood. I usually know where every college is and what their nickname is. So I have to look it up, the Longwood nickname. Gonzaga, 23.5 over Georgia State. The what? Farmville, Virginia. Yeah, that sounds about right. Are they? What are they? They're not the Chanticleers, so they could be the. Let me see. What would Longwood go with? The Woodies? The Woodsters? Lancers. The Lancers. So we know, we have information. Lancers. They'll be in and out of the tournament. Interesting that Loyola of Chicago, and of course they were the darlings a couple of years ago. They actually, remember when they came in and beat Florida, and everybody's like, oh my God, what's wrong with Florida? And then they end up going to the Final Four. They are 1.5-point favorites over Ohio State. Wow. I don't feel like that's surprising. Ohio State's been kind of a flighty team. USC is a 1.5-point favorite over Miami. Miami got in the tournament as well. Are they the only state team that got in the men's tournament? Miami, FSU didn't, Florida didn't. I don't think Florida Gulf Coast did. There are 6 Florida teams in the women's side, which is amazing. But Miami may be the only one. Anyway, Kentucky, 17.5-point favorite over St. Peter's. I know their nickname. They're the Peacocks. St. Peter's Peacocks. So go Peacocks. I will buy a St. Peter's t-shirt. If they pull it up, I will. If they pull off that win, I will buy 3 St. Peter's t-shirts. This will be a money bonanza for St. Peter's. Arkansas, 5.5-point favorite over Vermont. Sometimes I think people, the odds makers and the bettors, fall in love with the team what it used to be and not what it is now. I like that Arkansas team. I think they'll blow Vermont out. Auburn is a 16.5-point favorite over Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State, of course, has a good football team. They used to beat FSU, remember that? And LSU and their interim coach, 4.5-point favorite over Iowa State. They got a good draw and a good seed. I couldn't find the Alabama spread for some reason, but those are the spreads of the week. Monday spreads brought to you by Hesser and Kipke. Pardon me? Oh, it's unannounced? Well, so I wasn't just me. Maybe there's something going on there. Maybe Nate Oates is going to Florida. Who knows? So appreciate so much Hesser and Kipke, and they've been so great, not only in being a double sponsor, and we love that, but in just whatever we need to do, we're able to move around. We think alike. It's really cool. All right, so now it is time for 3 Things, which is, of course, presented by Hand Law. Hand Law, a Florida law firm which helps clients with government. You can learn more about Hand Law by visiting its website at www.hand.law. The firm is available for consultation in Jacksonville, and Chris Hand and I were going back and forth a little bit with some things. And there's going to be a lot of, trust me, guys, there's going to be a lot of speculation out there, okay? A lot. Don't believe any of it, or you can believe it all, because something will probably be true. There'll be 19 rumors. One of them will be accurate. And then the one you say, I told you it was going to be him. So we'll see what happens. The 3 things. Number 1 was I don't agree with Coach Spurrier about maybe – because I don't agree with Brandel Chambly. I like him most of the time. Excuse me. But that the course is – he doesn't like the 17th hole. I like the 17th hole. Maybe it's because I only hit in the water once there. I think I played there a dozen times. Only hit in the water once. I like it, and I loved what was happening. I mean, look, if it's not fair, so what? It's not fair for everybody. And you can say, well, the early, late games, whatever. You just play the golf course and see it. I thought Saturday was so entertaining. We sometimes like to watch golf tournaments to see the car wrecks, and that's the way it is. I'm curious what's going on now. I'm kind of looking forward to getting out and watching the although Jeff won't be here today, so it'll be me and Robbie. That'll be fun. All right, number 2, it's pretty clear to me the baseball team needs a 3rd starter. Barco's great. I think Sproat seems to have figured things out. They need a 3rd starter, and they've tried a bunch of different guys now. Obviously, they only threw Pogue a little bit. They had a pitch count on him, and maybe he could turn into that guy. But they need one when you lose a game to a team that has not won a game all year. And that's what happened. All right. And number 3, Peter Alonso was in a unbelievable wreck on Sunday. Guy ran a red light, hit him, flipped his car 3 times. He said It's like I'm going to spring training, I'm driving to spring training, and next thing you know, I'm trying to kick my window out of my car so I can get out because he's trapped. Luckily, he's fine. And, of course, we love Peter Alonso, former Gator. Love him anyway, even though he's a Met. His car flipped over 3 times. So that's good to know that he is okay. So those are hand loss 3 things. For some reason, my phone keeps blowing up. So, hey, maybe something's going on. We'll find out. All right, it is time for our Leonardo's at Millhopper Quick Picks. Now that we've given Darlene Berry, we haven't given it to her yet, but I'm going to meet with her later to give her award, and she did great, and proud of her. Stayed with it and finally won. So we'll start with a new qualifier, and I'm just going to make it simple, guys. Florida versus Iona, Wednesday night, 9 o'clock. That's it. That's all you need to do. Florida or Iona. Look, Iona had a great record. I think they were like 13-4 in their conference, but there's a reason why they weren't in the NCAA tournament. They have a pretty good coach, too. Florida's got an interim coach. Personally, I'd probably pick Iona. It's not like there's going to be a big crowd there and a huge home court advantage. You pick whoever you want. Pick the Gators, pick Iona, pick your nose. Doesn't matter to me. It's just a matter of you trying to get in and qualifying, because that's the most important thing. So I think, have we covered everything? I believe we have. It's been kind of a weird day today. That was what Sunday was so weird. Like I went to bed Sunday night and I was laying there thinking, what happened today? What in the world happened? But again, guys, I mean, this is not a big stunner for a lot of people over there. Just not. They kind of knew this was coming, and as Coach Spurrier was leaving, he said, it's probably best for everybody. Best for Mike White. I mean, obviously he couldn't deal with the fan base here. He couldn't deal with the criticism. Go to Georgia. I don't think it'll be as bad. Not in basketball. Football, it would be worse, or at least as bad. Good for Florida. They need to kind of move on and try something else. They have got, as I said before, they have a coach who can get them to above average. We don't know if he can get them past that. And probably won't be able to do that at Georgia either. Although they do, I mean, they get good players, and they just can't hold on to them. I mean, their team, they got 4 guys starting on NCAA teams. 4 on NCAA high seeds, too. Auburn, Kentucky, Arizona, and there's one more. I can't remember where he is. Camarda. Where did he go? I can't remember. Anyway, so, we'll see what happens. So and good for the Gator Nation because they can quit complaining for a while about this. I mean, it has been an exhausting year for football and basketball. Florida's been very good in other sports. Just won the indoor track championship, as we said. One of the best gymnastics teams they've ever had. Doesn't matter. What matters is that you need to be good in football, number one. And then way down the list, you need to be good in basketball, and then everything else after that. It's just the way it is, the way the fan base works. And again, I'm not being critical of the fan base, but maybe I hope some of you are happy. Maybe you are happy. You said, we got him out. But you got rid of a guy who is a great human being, okay, as good a person as you. And, again, there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes there that you don't know that he's done and help those players. So, look, I'm not going to say I wish him all the best. He's at Georgia. I hope he never wins a game. Sorry, Mike. I'm not rooting for you anymore. It's just the way it works. And the other way it works is we have to get out of here. I got to fill out my bracket. I got to go watch the players. I got to go do a radio show with Robbie Andrews. All that and more. But I appreciate all of you for watching Another Dooley Noted Podcast, as always presented from by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Thanks to Meldon Law for being the sponsor of Coach Spurrier on Mondays. Love having Coach. He was great today again. He's never not good. That's the great thing. We will be back on Friday with Wayne Fields as our special guest, and we'll have another yes, no way, or maybe, and all the other great things that we do. Until next time, I am Pat Dooley saying I'm deep, I'm way back, and I am out of here.